Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Ozarks Sports Report podcast. I am with the head coach of the Clever Blue Jays, Justin Snider, and we're going to do a little recap of the following week with the Clever Blue Jays. Starting off, they were in the right off the bat tournament, which is their tournament that they host there in Clever. Recapping their games, Clever went on and took on Aurora at Clever. They fell to Aurora 13-0. And then they beat Conway 13-0, defeated New Covenant 5-1, and then they took third place in the right off the bat tournament, beating Hartville 2-1. So, Coach Snider, what was the game plans that went into your week with Aurora, Conway, New Covenant, and Hartville?
First, Adam, let me thank you for having me on. We had a pretty good week last week. The game that we lost to Aurora, there's not really anything to hang our head about. They threw a kid that was going to Missouri State, and he threw really good, and there's a reason why they're the defending state champions, and we took a beating, but I'd play them again if we could. Just, the more experience we get against teams like that, the better it's going to be. But outside of that game, I couldn't be more pleased with how the first week went. We played Charleston on Saturday and got a 10-0 win too, so we didn't give up more than one run in any game last week except for to Aurora, which is tremendous from our defensive standpoint and from our pitching standpoint. Our offense was a little bit hit and miss. Conway, our offense looked unbelievably good, and then we edged out a win against Hartville, and then we hit well against New Covenant, and their kid was throwing in the mid-80s as well. But I was very pleased overall. We saw a lot of really good velocity from pitchers, and I think our offensive guys handled it well. And again, our defense and our pitching was tremendous last week.
And breaking down the right off the bat tournament for our viewers who are not from the state of Missouri or the Southwest Missouri area, what exactly is the right off the bat tournament that you guys host at Clever?
Right off the bat tournament has 8 of the top Class 2 and 3 teams, and then several of the top Class 4 teams in the state in it. It is held 4 teams at Forsyth and 4 teams at Clever. Pool play goes Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, and then the championship round, or the final day, is on Saturday. So this year, the marquee matchups, I'd say the 2 marquee teams were Catholic, who has I think 3 or 4 Division I athletes on their team, and they've got a junior that's committed to one of the top programs in the country in Vanderbilt, and then Aurora, who won the Class 4 state championship last year, and featured Gage Singer, who's a third baseman pitcher, and then their big time guy is Wyatt Sparks, who's going to Missouri State next year. He's a shortstop pitcher. That's who we saw. He set 88-91 in our game. In the championship game against Catholic, though, he hit 92 multiple times and throws about an 80-mile-an-hour slider, curveball as well. So, those are probably the 2 marquee teams. And you've got Forsyth and Hartville and Spokane rounding out the Forsyth side of the pool. And then on our side was New Covenant, who's ranked number 5 in Class 2, and then Conway, who is just a perennial Class 3 top 10 team. So that kind of round, and then us, and we're ranked number 9 in the state right now.
And what are some advantages that you guys saw from your team in the past week?
I'd say the biggest advantage is it's kind of a blessing and a curse all at the same time to see such good teams in the beginning. Charleston on that Saturday, which was not a part of the ROTB, probably threw the slowest velocity we saw during the week. But, we saw the 90s on Monday. On Tuesday, I'd say we probably saw mid-70s, maybe low to mid-70s. And then on Thursday against New Covenant, they threw their number 1 at us again. And he set 82 to 84 and hit 85, 86 several times. So that was really good for our kids to see. And then Hartville came back with 2 really good arms on Saturday that were probably in the mid to upper 70s and had really good off-speed pitches. So, the biggest advantage is that we saw 5 really good arms last week. The disadvantage is hitters are going to always be in the spring a little bit behind pitching and defense, but the fact that we were able to come out of our tournament 3-1 and 4-1 overall last week, I couldn't be happier. I usually jokingly tell people if we can come out of the first 3 weeks of our season at least 500, we've done a really good job. But to get off to a 4-1 start is, we're pretty ecstatic about it. And then, unfortunately, Mother Nature's kind of taken away this week from us. But we've got probably 3 to 4 varsity games next week that are going to put us right back on track.
And what are some corrections that you guys are going to be making with your team?
Definitely going to work on hitting, situational hitting. We had on Saturday the top of our order up a lot with runners in scoring position and didn't really produce the runs that the middle of the order should. I'm going to make a few changes in the lineup as far as where some guys hit to kind of see if that can, just a little bit of tinkering to see if I can fix that issue. We did bunt really well last week, but that's kind of a staple of Clever baseball. I mean, it's no secret that we're going to bunt quite a bit to move runners and score runs, and execution on the bunting part is great for us because it moves people out of comfortable situations and it moves guys around. And we scored, I'd probably say 4 or 5 runs last week on the fielding team throwing away a bunt. So we're definitely going to work on hitting a lot this week. It's hard to work on defense when you're stuck inside because of the rain. But, as long as we can maintain our defensive prowess and our pitchers continue to throw strikes, the offense should only get better.
And who would be your player of the week that you would pass that award to? Which player do you think...
I'm sitting here looking at our stats right now. So, as far as pitching goes, it would have to be kind of a tie between Tyler DP and Hunter Utzler. They both finished the week 2-0. Hunter Utzler threw 12 innings, and he threw against let's see here. Who did he throw? He threw Conway on Tuesday and threw a no-hitter against Conway. And then he threw, I believe, a 3-hitter against Hartville on Saturday. So he went 2-0 last week and struck out 14 in 12 innings pitched. Has an ERA out of week 1 at .58, which is really good. And then Tyler DP threw 11 innings. He threw the Charleston game on Saturday and came back and threw New Covenant, who's the number 5 ranked team in Class 2, and held them to 1 run. He had 10 strikeouts in 11 innings, and he has no ERA. So as far as pitching-wise, I'd say, you can't really separate the two of those guys. But we expect that from those guys. Those guys are 1-2, our workhorses, and that's what we expect from them. Offensively, Callan Springer hit 500 last week, had 7 hits, 3 RBIs, several stolen bases. And I would say that probably, he hasn't really hit his stride yet as far as solid contact. There's a few things we'll tinker with his, approach. I think it's more approach with him than it is swing. And hopefully we can continue to have that success with him. And then Trace Comer had a monster week as far as getting on base. He hit 500 last week and had an on base percentage. Going into Saturday, it was almost near 700. So he did a great job. And then the third best hitter in our lineup from last week was a freshman, Tanner Bradshaw, who didn't play a lot in the fall because he got sick and lost a lot of weight, and he doesn't weigh a lot to begin with. So he was kind of battling back from that, and he ended up getting 5 hits last week and hit 357, had an on-base of 400. He's still kind of trying to figure out what a varsity strike zone is. He strikes out swinging probably too much and probably could, use to be a little bit more disciplined, but that'll come, as we move on. And then, from there, we've got several guys that hit in the 300s last week, but after facing the pitching that we faced last week, to come out of it hitting 321 as a team and have an on-base percentage of around 500, I really couldn't be more happy about that.
And after coming out of the ROTB, but you guys did not have a game this week. You guys were supposed to be playing Sparta. Who is your gonna? We
lost the game on Monday with Hollister, and we lost to yesterday's game with Sparta. So Sparta's game should be made up next Wednesday. Hollister, we're still trying to find a date.
Is Sparta going to be your next opponent that's going to be coming up?
No, we actually, I think, are working right now on adding East Newton on Monday. We lost a game we were supposed to play tomorrow, and the team canceled on us, so we were looking and scrambling for an extra team to play, and East Newton, we've kind of been in talks with them to play on Monday, and then we played Forsyth on Tuesday, and then hopefully we get that Sparta game made up on Wednesday, and then Reed Spring next Thursday. So next week's a really jam-packed week with really good teams as well.
And as far as you guys are going to be transitioning over from SWCL onto the Mid-Lakes next year, what is going to be the big expectation for you guys coming out of the SWCL and into the Mid-Lakes?
It's a completely different style of baseball. Having come from the Mid-Lakes, in my 4 years at Stratford, it is much more offensive-oriented and power arm-oriented, where you're going to see 80-plus miles an hour almost every day on the mound. You're going to see guys that can hit, but I don't think the defense is as solid as in the SWCL. We will have to adjust offensively. We're going to have to score more runs. We're going to have to become better at the plate. We're going to become bigger and stronger because you're going against football schools. I do think that's some of the reason why the Mid-Lakes has the power arms and has the guys that hit so well is because they're just stronger than the SWCL teams physically. And a lot of that has to do with them having football and having multiple sports athletes, and that's going to be a huge thing for us. Can we get the kids to play more than one sport here? It's been a problem in the past. It's gotten better, but the last 2 years, our senior basketball group last year, none of them played baseball, and then our freshman class, it's really good this year. Hardly any of them play basketball. So I think our biggest key, with adding football and everything else, is going to be getting the kids in the weight room and not having that transition year of realizing during the year, oh man, we're not big enough or strong enough to play in this conference, and I don't want that to happen to our kids. I hope that we play most of the Mid-Lakes schools already on our schedule, and I'm just hoping that I can prove that point to them this year when we go to those places and see those kids. And I think they're seeing it a little bit, with Aurora having football, how much more physically gifted those athletes are and stronger. And then Charleston's kids were big. And then this coming week we played several football schools. And there's a big difference between the football schools and non-football schools, for the most part, with kids and how much stronger they are at the football school. So I really think that's the biggest difference, is just getting the kids to buy into the fact that the weights and skill development, it has to be stepped up.
And if you were to say any words to the coaches of Coach Minner, the coaches at Aurora, Conway, New Covenant, and Hartville, what would your words be to those coaches that you guys faced?
I mean, we had a great opening week. All the coaches were awesome for working, so easily together last week. We had some weather issues early on. Coach Minner from Charleston and me talked yesterday, and it looks like we're going to return the favor and go to them next year and play. And I don't know if Coach Harmon's going to hop on the bus with us and go with us, or if it's just going to be us, but we should return the trip to them. And then, Coach Hoffman has an awesome group at Aurora, and they play the game the right way all the time. And it's just if you can model your team out how you want them to play and how aggressive they are, Aurora would be, I think, the team to do it. And then Conway's just a consistent, Coach Ballou does an awesome job with them, and they're just so consistent year in, year out with being successful. And Coach Hartley at New Covenant, he's been around forever and just did a great job at Willard and is doing a great job at New Covenant. And Coach Horn at Hartville, he's got a ton of baseball experience. He's a Hartville kid, so we just played really good teams and coached really well. And I'm glad and proud that these schools will want to play us and be in our tournament and come to us and give us that opening week challenge that I feel is important to test our kids. And because if we're going to win our district, we have to be able to face and beat guys that throw in the 80s and 90s for us to win our district in Class 3.
And with the exception with the kids, after they lost a few games with Hollister and Sparta due to Mother Nature here in the Ozarks. What are you going to be telling your kids to do after ROTB and then the upcoming games that are going to be coming up next week?
It's hard to stay focused when you're inside. Inside practices are no fun. I don't think you'll find a lot of coaches that say they are. Trying to keep the kids focused, and we shorten our practices quite a bit when we're inside. Some of it's because our facilities, we just don't have great facilities for indoors. And some of it's the fact that we have to come back at night to practice. We can't practice after school if we want to get into a cage that's inside. So we shorten and condense our practices down to about an hour and a half, hour 15, and really harp hard on, this is great fundamental, great walk-through practices, great to hit off the tee and soft toss and front toss stuff. So, the focus, I think, is the biggest and most important key, because more than likely walking into next week, we're not going to have hardly any batting practice be thrown or any ground balls be taken with how much it has rained this week and how much it's supposed to continue to rain through Sunday. I would be shocked if we're able to get on our field to do anything before next week.
Okay, that is going to wrap up our show for today. We hope you enjoyed our show. We hope you enjoyed us sitting down with the head coach of the Clever Blue Jays, Justin Snider. And if you want to stay connected with the Clever Blue Jays, be sure to follow them on Twitter. That is at @clever_baseball. Once again, that's @clever_baseball. And be sure to like their Facebook page. And if you want to stay connected with us through our social media, be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and check out our website. Our website is ozarksportsreport.wixsite.com/Ozark Sports Report. So once again, I want to say thank you to Head Coach Justin Snider of the Clever Blue Jays for taking the time with us, and we hope to see you guys in the next show. Have a good day, everybody.